Breaking news today. Where do we go from here in Ukraine? As the anniversary of Putin's invasion of Ukraine approached, Western leaders delivered a series of fiery denunciations of Russian aggression and enthusiastic declarations of solidarity with the Ukrainian people in their fight for freedom and democracy. Vice President Biden made a historic trip to Kiev to deliver a joint speech with his Ukrainian counterpart, Volodymyr Zelensky. A formal resolution condemning Russian aggression was passed by the United Nations General Assembly a couple of days later, reiterating its demand that the Russian Federation immediately, completely, and unconditionally withdraw all of its military forces from the territory of Ukraine within its internationally recognized borders. After initially declining to provide advanced tanks to the Ukrainian army, several countries, including the United States, have agreed to do so and have even begun to toy with the idea of supplying fighter jets. All of this has occurred over the course of the past 2 months. Any Christian with a strong sense of justice should take heart from these events, as Ukraine's cause is undoubtedly just. However, just cause is not the only component of traditional just war theory. Saint Augustine, in his book City of God, penned the immortal words, "It is obvious that peace is the end sought for by war." This statement dates back nearly 2 millennia. Although this is self-evident from a logical standpoint, it is not necessarily the case that all humans are logical thinkers. Many men throughout history have been tempted to view the hardships of war, especially when fought for a just cause, as something to be celebrated. All of us can relate to the appeal of waging an endless war with no hope of victory or peace in sight in order to protect one's homeland or stand up to an oppressive ruler. It is not enough to have a just cause to go to war, Christians argue. You must also have a plausible endgame in mind, preferably one that is less evil than the status quo. There must be a reasonable probability of success in achieving the just and lasting peace that the war seeks to achieve. While it may be satisfying morally to start, support, and continue an endless war on the basis that the bad guys deserve to be killed, this is neither just nor rational. There is a growing danger of exactly that happening on the part of Western powers in the Ukrainian conflict. While the UN resolution stated objective, that the Russian Federation immediately, completely, and unconditionally withdraw all of its military forces from the territory of Ukraine within its internationally recognized borders, is clear. The resolution offers no suggestions for how that objective might be achieved. Since the retaking of Crimea, which has been Russian territory for almost a decade, is implicitly stated as a war goal in the resolution, a just war theorist might reasonably question the likelihood of success, the possibility that Putin could be brought to the negotiating table under such terms. It's likely that Ukraine will need increasingly visible and dramatic forms of Western support if it wants to win this conflict. The United States, apparently unrepentant for its mistakes in Vietnam, believes it can have its cake and eat it too by letting a faraway ally win a proxy war on its behalf while it smugly watches and cheers. This time, we told ourselves that the bloodless new weapons of economic warfare would allow us to bring Russia to her knees with a wave of a wand, with President Biden boasting last March that thanks to sanctions, Russia's economy was on track to be cut in half. Last month's news that Russia's economy shrank by only 2.9% in 2022 was met with an awkward silence. Undeterred, President Biden gushed in his Kyiv speech that thanks to Ukraine's valiant resistance, democracy stands, and in return he offered a broad but nebulous blank check. You remind us that freedom is priceless. It's worth fighting for as long as it takes. And for as long as it takes, Mr. President, we will stand by your side. Such proclamations have a powerful effect on us, and there are very few Americans whose hearts are hard or twisted enough not to feel compassion for the Ukrainian people. Contrarily, compassion is not a strategy for winning a war. America and the other Western nations will soon have to decide what kind of peace they hope to achieve through the current war and how much force they are willing to use to achieve that peace. Anything else would be completely unfair.